Take this opportunity and address some of the comments that I've been receiving on the taxation as a moral process series. And I'm going to start with the people that I see closest to agreement. Captain Burrs had a comment on the first taxation video where he is okay with the taxation on optional goods, such as when you purchase gasoline, he's okay with a portion of that going towards repairing the roads. But he is also quick to point out or the question, where does that leave us if it's lawnmowers or things that aren't to be used on the road? I would like to say that any sort of tax that you pay is an income tax because the money that you are spending on the good that you consume, whether it's optional or required, is going to be from your income, from your wealth, which is in turn a representation of a portion of your time. So, regardless of what the good or the process is, you're still giving up a portion of your wealth and your time to someone who is giving you perhaps nothing in return. And you could say, yeah, it's being used for the roads, but I don't know how you see your budget, your home budget, but check this out. I have a friend who they put money aside for different things, and he actually takes it to a fault. Like he'll have a certain amount of money for toys and fun, and then a certain amount of money for bills and whatever. Well, if there's not enough money for bills, but yet there's still money for toys and fun, he doesn't take the money from toys and fun and put it towards the bills. When in reality, a economical budget has assets and liabilities. You have money coming in, you have expenses, and that's all there is to it. So whatever process the government takes place in, is funded by whatever incomes it receives. You know, even if the gas that you put in your car, it's earmarked for the road, well that's going to free up capital for some other stuff that you may or may not agree with. But still, in that instance, you are making an involuntary contribution of your wealth towards someone. That also goes what I just said to Burrs. I feel that somewhat answers to Ches Critta as well about he was okay with a consumption tax. Well, what right does anybody have to any part of a transaction who isn't a willing and voluntary participant? It is voluntary participation in transaction that makes a healthy economy. That an exchange of value for value. I am exchanging something of mine of less value to something of yours, which I perceive as being a greater value, and you are doing the converse of that, where what I have is a greater value to you versus what you possess now is a lesser value. There doesn't need to be some sort of a third party that fleeces that transaction to do their little schemes. They have no rights to it. I also see discussions about some sort of a greater good. A greater good, huh? Is the greater good somehow worth it to leave an individual behind? Does a greater good not involve the individual? I know when people say greater good, the ones with the big hearts are thinking of that one person that's starving to death or passing away from a preventable medical condition. But it's not worth it for anyone to be left behind. And there is no necessity of evil. The arguments made about, well, taxes are a necessary evil and you might as well get used to it. Necessary evil, that's a ridiculous argument. That really is a ridiculous argument. Also, to the Republican Party, and why I'll be leaving your ranks with the retirement of Representative Paul. Um, the argument of shut up and get back in line and cast your party vote. That's a ridiculous argument as well. I'm not going to shut up about this stuff. If somebody's policies are bad, if the direction that they're taking the country is bad, I'm going to say so. Just because they wear a red shirt or a blue shirt doesn't make any matter. A bad idea is a bad idea. Lastly, I got a very smart comment from someone who offered that the concept of property is a society construct. So if you're participating in a society construct, then you need to participate in all the aspects of that construct, including the taxation to allow the continued existence of that construct. I would like to counteroffer that and point out that the early laissez-faire French philosophers worded it best in that private property is actually an individual construct. An individual takes raw land, raw materials from the earth, and molds it, shapes it, puts its work into it, puts his or her efforts and time, and in a sense, makes that property part of them, where their identity is linked with it. That is an individual construct, and no one else has a natural right. You have a natural right to pursue your own individual constructs, yes, but you do not have a natural right to merely take someone else's. That's wrong. And I am looking for people who agree with that.